All right, absolutely excited. If you guys do not know who I am, my name is Theory. I have been developing myself for the last few years, and my goal today is to try to give you guys just a smidget of what I've learned so far. So, I was hanging out with somebody, and they were telling me how bad their life is, how they couldn't afford their bills, how they couldn't do this, how they couldn't do X, Y, and Z. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. You keep saying that, the rent's high. You keep saying your car bill is high. You keep saying all these things are high, but I, you're missing one point. And he said, what is it that I'm missing? He said, the economy's bad. He said, oh, this is what's happening, and I just don't know, and like I feel like this is happening, and this is why I'm not doing this, and this is why, this is why, this is why. I said, you're missing one key part. The key part is you. So he was telling me about how all these things and all these outside circumstances were creating the life he had, right? So he'll blame the taxes. Oh, he doesn't make enough money. He doesn't have enough for this. He lives in a terrible place. He's growing up here. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But you forgot to mention you. Now, he said, what do you mean, you? And I said, you. Because we are a product of environment and everything like that, but it all starts from you. You right here. So that is what we're going to talk about today. So I was reading a book, and they were talking about how most people are drifters. Drifters, yes. So we drift through life wondering why these certain things are happening to us. We wonder why why everything seems to go wrong and why all this foolishness. But the reality is that we control almost almost everything in our life. So he said, what do you mean by you? I said, well, have you looked yourself in the mirror? Have you asked yourself, are you someone that a higher paying job will offer the position to? I said, are you someone that someone would look at you and be like, oh, I want to be like this guy? Are you someone that someone will look up to? Are you someone who is working on himself relentlessly to become great? He said, no. I said, do you go to the gym? No. I said, do you do anything? He's like, no, I come home and I watch TV. So I'm saying it's okay. So let's take this for example. You sleep 8 hours. 8 hours, go into sleep. Okay, cool. Then you work 8 hours. You work, yes. So you work 8 hours. Okay, cool. That's 16 hours. You have 8 hours left. Because 8 times 3 is 24 for anybody that's not tracking. Anyways, so you have 8 hours here, 8 hours here, and then you have another 8 hours. Okay. Well, most people don't just live 8 hours and then they wake up and go straight to work. So we have, a few hours before work, we have hours after work. So I said, what are you doing with these other hours? He said, well, I'll list them. So the other 8 hours, I'm like getting ready for work. Cool. So he says, I'm getting ready for work, right? I'm like, okay, cool. And then he said, I'm watching the game. Watching the game. I said, you have time to be watching the game? Okay, whatever. Watching the game. So he said, okay, cool, you're watching the game. Okay, what else are you doing? Games with E. My apologies. So I said, what else are you doing? He said, I hang out with the family. Okay, cool. Hang out with the family. Hang out with the fam. We're going to just say fam because it's going to make it short and more simple. So I said, okay, you spent the extra 8 hours getting ready, watching the game, hanging out with the fam. So out of all of this, If you have 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of working, you're obviously driving home, because yes, you're driving home. So you're driving home. So driving home, driving to, the whole, we'll call it commute. We'll call it commuting time, right? All that's in there because most people don't just work from home, right? So we're talking about commute. Okay, so you have all this to fit in this extra 8 hours. Fantastic. So I said, well, you're complaining about all this foolishness. You complain about how you can't afford this, you can't afford this, you can't go there, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I'm seeing out of all these 8 hours that you have not doing work and not doing sleep because you need work for money, right? And we need sleep, time to sleep because you gotta recharge the battery. So I said 8 hours, you're getting ready, you're watching the game, and you're hanging out with family, and then you're commuting. I said, well, if that is the case, I don't see where it says working on you. So there's no point where he says, and during that time, I work on myself. And it got me thinking. So out of all this time, so you have 24 hours in a day. And at no point did you decide to work on yourself. Well, he said, well, what does that matter, man? The government is not paying that. Well, the job is not paying that. My wife don't care. This, and X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, you're listing all this foolishness. Okay, these are outside environments that you cannot control. But what you can control is you. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, well, if you work on yourself, you get better, you become more value to the marketplace. So what does that mean? First of all, this may sound like a crazy concept to most people because it's like, increase your market value. What does that mean? Well, let's say you work at a corporate office, right? Corporate office, they want you to have a degree. They want you to know how to, use Word, Excel, yada, yada, yada. So all those things are things that you have to learn. So he said, oh, well, I was like, when's the last time you pick up a book? He said, well, I haven't picked up a book since high school. Well, I said, well, there you go. You have no new knowledge. So you expect the workforce to pay you for more, but you have not improved. Okay, first of all, we're not Apple, okay? I don't even know if I can say Apple. Maybe I shouldn't say Apple. Anyways, but they keep coming up with the same phones, slight improvements. At least Apple does slight improvements. That's why we keep buying this foolishness. Well, I don't, but yeah, I do. But anyways, that's why we keep buying these things, right? So I said, okay, you must work on yourself. He said, well, I don't know where to start. So I said, okay, cool. So for me, let me put this into perspective. So I used to have the same viewpoint where I would sit and I always wonder, I say, how do these people have all this foolishness? How do these people have all this money that I cannot have? How do these people are able to wear nice clothes? How are these people able to have nice apartments and nice houses and nice condos and penthouses? How are these people driving the nicest cars? How are these people doing X, Y, and Z? I asked all these questions because I sat and I thought. I said, why not me? Yes, I am from a third world country. I'm from a very poor country. I don't know if you guys know who I am. I'm from Haiti. So I was brought here when I was younger for an opportunity as an American dream. So I said, well, if I'm here to have a chance at the American dream, why am I letting it go to waste? But I said, well, I'm poor, so how am I going to get rich if I'm poor? Like, I have to be born into the wealth. Or I have to steal, or I have to cheat or scam or whatever it is. Because that's what we do. We like to find the easy way out, the loopholes. So he said, okay, I must work on myself. And like I said, I had the same viewpoint. Because I had that same viewpoint where, because I'm poor, I grew up poor, we shared the house, one room, 5, 6, 7 of us inside one room. And then how do I plan from going from that person into someone who has an abundance where they're paying thousands of dollars in rent and thousands of dollars on cars and stuff like that? It makes no sense. So I said, well, what can I do? So I was putting my perspective, my shoes, right? Because I've been there, right? So I used to do the same thing. I said, well, I don't know what to do because I never improved myself. But it didn't make sense to me because obviously, what does work on yourself mean? Like, I go to work. I go to my job. I go to sleep. I talk to my friends. I'm working on something, you know? So I said, what can I do? So I picked up a book. It was at first, it was called Rich Dad Poor Dad, where it taught me all about the different quadrants. There's quadrants of how it all works. But that's more about money, right? So I said, we gotta work on yourself. First thing I did was I said, well, what if I can look at someone and be like, I want to be like them? What are they doing? Well, I know they go to the gym. Oh, that's not even G. I know they go to the gym. So that's a fact. Gym. So they go to the gym, right? So they work out. They eat healthy. And then they keep learning. So, okay, so I know I don't have the money that they have, okay, but what are they doing? Well, I know they're doing the business. Well, I don't have the stuff for the business. So what are they doing? So I know that you're going to the gym, they're eating healthy, and they're continuously learning. So I said, okay, what are they doing that I'm not? And I found out these three. But what I didn't realize is there's three things that must happen. You must take accountability, because for your life to change is very simple. And the reason you're in the position that you're in is because most of the time people have a victim mentality, right? So we're all drifters. Well, most people are drifters, right? And then but most drifters, I'll tell you what they don't do. They don't take accountability. Take accountability. So they don't take accountability they don't take accountability, right? Then what they don't do, give me 1 second. So they don't take accountability. They don't audit themselves. And then what they don't do is implement, but we'll call it adjusting. You know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna switch up this one right here. Just accountability. I like the AAA. Accountability. Accountability. Okay, so what do you mean? Well, you must take accountability for your life and everything that's in it, because odds are, and I want to preach this very, 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 like, I want to make sure you guys understand this. Odds are you have not taken accountability for where you are in your life, and you're wondering, oh, this is happening. Well, yes, I'm sure, like, you're not getting paid a lot. I'm sure everything you probably told me is probably true. But the key factor was you, which you put yourself into it. So now you need to take accountability for your actions. For your actions. Bruh. For your actions and where you are. Okay, so, because odds are, you are in the exact position that you currently are in because you chose to be. And before you guys get all crazy and be like, I didn't put myself in this position. Yes, you did. And I'll explain why. So, I've done this before. So, accountability is very straightforward. Taking accountability for your actions, right? Most people, they blame everything. They blame the government, they blame their jobs, they blame their sisters, their family, their friends, their cousins, but except themselves, right? So once you take accountability that everything is in your control, and if it's not in your control, it's because you made it not in your control. So I would say, the job you're in, you went and applied for it. You probably be like, well, I didn't have any other option. Well, that was maybe a year ago. You probably learned something in your job that now you can implement it to get to another job. You can go and apply for a new job and get a higher paying job because you have experience now. Or you can be like, oh, my wife. You chose your wife, bro. Or girl, you chose your husband. I don't know. But what I can say is you chose a lot of this stuff. And because you chose a lot of this stuff, you can also undo it. Now, but the way you undo that is by taking an audit. Analyze. We'll say analyze your life in its entirety. And you have to be very, very, very analyze. You have to be very, very, very truthful with this right here. Because a lot of people will a lot of people, when they audit, they only go surface level. So you're going to say things like, well, I'm in this position, this position, all because of you. But you must analyze your life completely and understand what habits do you have. What bad things that you're doing right now, if you stopped it, would make yourself a little bit better to change your life a little bit more day by day. So you must analyze your life in its entirety and understand that everything that you're in is your fault. So you take an accountability, you audit your life. And I mean audit from head to toes. What time you go to sleep? What time you wake up? Do you go to the gym? Do you eat healthy? Do you run? Do you do cardio? Do you read? Do you learn new things? Have you picked up a book? Do you have any goals? Have you even tried to achieve your goals? These things that sound so simple to understand are not practiced. Unfortunately, this is what happened. So we must take accountability for your actions when where you are. You must audit yourself in its entirety to analyze your life to make sure you understand exactly what is going on in your life. Then you must adjust. And adjust means to implementing big change. Okay, so adjusting, I would say adjusting is implementing a small or big change in your life. Listen, this is all coming from my brain, so sorry. This is not like some, next level stuff. But anyways, you must adjust and implement. So you gotta start implementing a small or big change in your life. And these small implements can be you doing 30 minutes of cardio, 30 minutes in gym, or 30 minutes of reading for 30 minutes, or reading 10 pages, or drinking more water, or applying for a job, like 5 jobs every single day. These small little things may seem like it's small, but over time things compound, right? So you may have read 10 pages, but in those 10 pages you might have learned something that you never even knew about. You may have drank some water, but you drinking the water for a week has dropped your body weight and now you feel better because your body's hydrated. You may have, ate cleaner, and now because you eat cleaner, you're less lethargic, you have more brain power, more brain clarity. You can now go and try and to do more things when you get off of work instead of just having your mind so tired and so foggy that you just come home and watch Netflix. Okay? Once you implement these things, these small things will change your life but you must start with you. You must take accountability for your actions. You must audit yourself vigorously. And I'm talking about an audit, like sometimes I do quarterly audits. I kind of audit myself every day, but sometimes you gotta do like an audit about your life to understand it completely, to understand like what is it that you're doing, what actions are you doing that's causing certain things to happen in your life. Then you must adjust this. You must adjust this, and I want you to take it small steps at a time. So I'll tell you how I did it, right? So I sat there and I was very poor at one point, and I used to think about how all these people have all this type of crazy stuff and how do I achieve it? And I was like, well, I was blaming everybody except me. I used to say, oh, it's all these taxes being pulled out of my paycheck. It's, I didn't have education like everybody else. It's because I got a speeding ticket. It doesn't matter, right? So I took accountability for my actions. I was like, okay, well, I applied for these jobs. I'm the one who's the one working here. I'm the one who didn't go when I didn't go to college. I'm the one who didn't do this. I'm the one who didn't do that. So I must take accountability and then figure out what is it in my life that is causing me to feel this way. Well, so in the beginning, I was like, well, I don't work out that much. I'm getting fat. I'm getting lazy. Like, of course, they kind of go in hand because, like I said, everything compounds. You getting fat and lazy also messes up with your brain. Because now you don't feel motivated to do anything. Which motivation, we're not going to get that topic, but. So, like motivation is great. Motivation is like little spurts of moments where you're like, oh, I feel like doing it. Yeah, but the feeling passes, okay? So I audit my life, and I audit vigorously. I said, what am I doing right now that if I stop, will make my life better? What am I doing right now that is making my life worse? What if I change something about my life and then that made the jump? So I'll give you guys an example. So I was like, well, I'm not making money. I was like, I need money. So problem, where's my, oh, I'm so slow right now. Listen, we're all sometimes a little slow. I've been working nonstop all day, and I was like, okay, let's create this video. So my problem was money. I wanted more money because I was making $2,000 a month. Yeah, $2,000 a month, $2K a month. I had to get real with myself. I said, well, $2K a month, maybe $2K a month, that is so little. Like, how can I live off of that? Well, I said, well, $2K a month is not enough for me to live on. I don't know how am I supposed to live. My car payment is like $300. This is crazy. My rent's like 17. That's $2K a month. So because it was $2K a month, I said, well, I need to figure out. So I took accountability. I said, well, I'm in this position. I'm the one who chose the rent. I'm the one who chose the car. So technically, I'm the one making me struggle. See how that works? I'm the one making me struggle. I didn't have to get a nice house, nice place. I didn't have to get me a nice car. Well, at the time it was a nice car, but little did I know. But anyways, so I had my little Honda Accord for $300. I had my little apartment for $1,700. And then, insurance and everything like that. So I'm in the negatives, okay? And that's how credit card debts happen. So I had to take accountability that I'm the one who put myself in the position. Then I had to audit myself. I said, well, I know that I'm going out drinking and everything like that. So I need to stop doing that. So I need to reduce my liabilities. I need to reduce my income out my cash flow out. That's not even cash flow either. Lord have mercy. But I must reduce the amount of money that goes out of my bank account because I barely have enough coming in. So I took an audit myself. I said, well, what can I do to stop? So I stopped going out. I stopped doing all this good stuff. And then I said, so I took accountability. Like, I'm the one who put myself in a position where I cannot live off my $2,000 a month. And then I'm the one complaining about how I can't live off this $2,000 a month. But, so I took accountability here. That's where I took my accountability. Accountability. All right. So I took my accountability there and said I'm the one who put myself in that position that I cannot survive, and it's $2K a month. and I blamed everything else. I said, well, the economy's high, you know, the rents are expensive, and car prices are high, interest rates are high. I said everything except me. Right, so I took accountability. Then I did the audit, and I said, okay, let's stop doing everything that's going against what we're trying to do. We're trying to live off my 2K, okay? I'm trying to live off my 2K. So I had to figure out how can I increase my income, right? So I did a little research. And I said, well, this 2K is not gonna do much, okay? This money is not enough for me to live. So I said, well, what can I do? So I looked for better jobs. So I looked for better jobs. I don't know why I made it so tiny. So tiny, but. So I looked for better jobs. I researched and I said, what are some highest paying jobs? I said, what are, so this time I wanted to be a millionaire. So I was like, what job makes the most money? So I was looking at doctors and all that good stuff. I'm like, I don't have no damn doctor's degree. So I found out that sales, you can make money without a degree or anything like that. So all you gotta do is just learn skills. So I got into sales. So I found me a job in sales. And in sales, you do not have basically a cap on your money, or the cap on your ability to make money, or cap on the money you can make, right? So I got into sales because sales would help me fix this problem. Now, sales don't have to be your answer to it. Sales is my answer to it. You can find another job. You can apply for a higher paying job. You can do DoorDash, Uber Eats. You can become other professions. Anyways. So I did that. So I took the accountability, and then I did the audit, and I figured out what was happening. So I said, what can I do to make it better? So I found a job in sales. And then in sales, for you to get better, you must practice. So that's when I started to implement. Oh my. So that's when I started to implement everything I needed to know. So I learned all the skills. Because this right here is what most people do not have. So I started to learn all the skills that was necessary for me to make more than 2K a month. I looked first into myself and I said, well, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? That's when I audit myself. And then I figured out what I can do to make my life better. And then I took that and I started to implement it into here, which now increased my 2K a month. Now during this time, it went from 2K. I don't know if this is important, but it went from 2K to 10, 20K a month. So it sounds crazy right on the board. But me getting from 2K to 10 to 20K a month all started with me. Do this right here. All started with me, which is you. With you. So you see, you like to complain about everything that's wrong in life. But if you had taken a chance to just take accountability, do a self-audit, and to start implementing things that can help make your life better, you realize it's not easy to change. You are correct. It is not easy to change. It's not easy to look at yourself and take accountability of yourself because it's very difficult. It's difficult to stare at yourself and look in the mirror and say, it's me. It's my fault. Like, that sounds difficult. And it is difficult. But once you can break through that, Once you can break through that, you sit down at the edge of the bed, you sit down at a table, you sit down on a chair, and you get a little note and pad and just say, me. And then you go, what am I doing? And then you list everything you're doing, all your habits, everything you do throughout the day. And you're like, is any of this making my life any better? Is any of this going to change my life for the better? Is it? Probably not. But, so once you do that and you are yourself, now you see exactly what you're doing, and then you're wondering why your life is not changing. You're wondering why everything is happening to you, against you. But once you start to do this accountability and do this audit, life happens for you, with you, not against you and to you. Life starts to happen for you. Life becomes better. So, if I could leave you with anything, you are the creator of all your problems. If you're in a sticky situation, it probably was your fault. You'd be like, well, this girl did this to me. Well, this guy did this to me. But you're the one who's talking to them. I'll let that sit. Anywho, you are the foundation for everything in your life. You may say that your parents did it. You may say that your friends did it. You may say that the job did it. All points to you. You say, well, my family, they keep, making me come to their festivities, and that's why I keep getting drunk every night. Then stop going. I don't understand. This is you. This is your life. It's not your family's life. This is your life. Well, my friends, my work friends say that I need to, do this. Are they who you want to be? Ask yourself that. For all these people that you get advice from, are they people that you would like to be like? Can you see yourself becoming like them? Do they have what you have? Do they have what you want? Ask yourself. Ask yourself, do these people that I'm looking at, these people I'm listening and taking all this feedback, do they have what you want? Are they making the money that you want? Are they in the physique that you want? Are they living where you want to live? Are they driving what you want to live? I said driving where you want to live. Driving where you want to. Are they driving where you want to drive? Are they driving where you want to drive? Are they driving what you want to drive? Ask yourself. Because it all starts with you. Once you accept the accountability and you accept the fact that you put yourself in this position and you continue to keep yourself in this position because you don't want to change. This victim mindset that I sound like a but you must change for you to get better, for you to do things that you want to do. Don't worry. I'm going to have more handy dandy whiteboard conversation with you guys. I'm telling you. After I'm done with you guys will understand so many different things that I'm going to... I'm really hoping that you guys gain something from this. But what I want you to do tonight, and I wouldn't push this off, because the moment you can do what I just said to do, the moment more things will get clear for you. You will realize that a lot of things is really your fault. Anyways, if you guys like this video, go ahead and actually, if you guys stayed this long to hear me talk and rant about this foolishness, that's not foolishness because this is your life. But if you guys stayed this long to listen to this conversation, go ahead and drop a like and a subscribe at the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.